The podcast you are listening to of Holmberg's Morning Sickness is brought to you by my friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Trust me on this one. You've had barbecue before, but you haven't had it this good. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale, ericsfamilybbq.com.
When was the last time you had really good Texas-style barbecue? Eric's Family Barbecue, the way it's supposed to taste. Always delicious, never rushed, and prepared to perfection. Eric's Family Barbecue uses only 100% fresh meat, slowly smoked over mesquite wood until it's juicy and delicious. We all know their brisket is the best, but have you tried their pulled pork, pork ribs, or rib tips? Amazing, and their sides are all house-made. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Make the trip. You won't be sorry. Go to ericsfamilybbq.com for more information.
This man needs medical attention.
Holmberg's Morning Sickness.
The old method of treatment for a person in this condition was to throw him in jail.
Good morning, everybody. Hello there. Welcome to Friday. It's 5:45. My name is John. How are you? There's Brady, Brett Vesley, Big Dick Talico. I like that.
Talico Vision.
I got an M&M. I'm still chewing M&M's. How I start today. It's like Mr. Rogers' shoes. I go get that bag of M&M's. Toledo's here, too. But that's all right. It is the Morning Sickness. Welcome. Friday. It's beautiful. I actually, it's the transition from heat to whatever's going on here has been too fast, and I popped on without thinking, the Lululemons and the light T-shirt today and walked out to the car. Jesus, it's cold out. I actually got a nice cold chill going.
You scared me when you started talking about transitions. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, not there. No. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell everybody. Also, I'm gay. Totally forgot about announcing that again.
We know.
I know you guys know, but you got to bear with me.
We went heavy into fashion right away, and people are, they need to know.
It's true. Yeah, I'm thinking about it all the time now.
Yeah.
Look, bear with me, boys, while I figure this stuff out. I just have to let everybody know. And you'll sit back and you'll tease, and you'll be wildly uncomfortable with my homosexual ways. But, Brett, one of these days it's going to save our ass.
All right. Brett, you going to ask your question? Did you take a knee yesterday?
Yeah. I took 2 knees.
Whoa.
Ironically, my homosexuality is going to save my ass. You figure
I understand that.
Yeah, it's smart. It's the smartest thing ever. I had my exterminator guys from Hunter Pest Control come yesterday, and I'm pulling up to the house, and they were pulling up right behind me. My yard guy, Al's, there. How you doing, John? Like, hey, Al, what's going on? Hey, I got a sprinkler problem over there. We saw it. We're going to fix that next week. You gay now? Yes, I am, sir. All right. Somebody told me you was gay because he doesn't listen. I'm like, yeah. Thanks, Al. Hunter Pest Control guys get out of the car. They're talking for a second. He goes, so I understand you're gay now. I'm like, yeah. And it was right on the heels of him going, because I had a little weird drywall termite thing for like a year. They had to drill holes in my shower. Oh. That was awful. And then in a bathroom tile. Because I did this addition on the house, and they think that it came with when we poured the new concrete. So we're drilling down into that a long time ago. So how'd those termites go? It was good. I finally got them out of there. We did it. Now I got to fix the holes, but we'll do that another time. It's weird how they do that. It's like destructive. Termites are awful. So then he says the thing about termites. Hey, we got that poison, man. We got it all through there. Hey, you gay now? Yeah, I'm gay now. I'm gay. That's a great idea, man. It's a great idea. Nobody said. Everybody gets it. Everybody understands. Everybody gets it. No, he's like, it's not a bad idea. It's really smart. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I know it is. We're white dudes in 2021. Nobody feels sorry for us, and we still want to talk.
So if Gruden would have came out gay, would he be all right?
He would have had to, blow Carl Nassib right there. Man, I'm straight as an arrow, man. Watch this. Go, dog. Knock wood if you're with me, man. Hey, Nassib, bring up the wood. So, yeah, very funny because when Al said it, he was leaning, he's all sweaty. He's been working real hard in the yard. How you doing, John? It's good, Al.
Well,
understand you gay now? Yes, sir. Yes, I just screamed it across the cul-de-sac, which was hilarious.
It'll be interesting to see what happens because David Carr yesterday said, let's get all of them out. Let's get all the emails out.
Right.
Because if that's the only one, why don't you start
release the rest of them? Yeah. Well, because it was leaked. Which means it wasn't released. The whole thing's still silly. I've been trying to keep an eye on stuff that's gone on with John Gruden. And again, as a human being, you're kind of like, this poor dude's going through it. And
Jen Sturger was attacking or basically jabbing at Adam Schefter about the whole thing in 2011.
Yeah.
The Brett Favre thing.
Oh, the pee-pee pictures?
Yeah, she said he was the one to kind of reported that.
Well, there's plenty of times that goes on. And you got to, whatever. Doesn't really
Exactly. Everyone's pointing fingers.
Right. Well, because there's history now. There's no limitations on people's emails, texts, and goofs. And somebody brought this up to me the other day and said, Kobe, remember when Kobe, I forgot about this, but Kobe called that guy the homo F word on the court, if I remember. I don't remember if it was a referee or another player, but he said it, and they're like, hey, Kobe, you can't just go shouting that word out. It was like you could read his lips, and it was in the thing. I don't remember exactly the deal. And we basically, canonized that dude because he passed away. So the best thing John Gruden could do is smash into the side of a hill, evidently, because then he's a hero again.
Or cry. Because it worked for Jonah Hill, right?
Jonah Hill said it. That's right. He called that. But and I stand by Jonah Hill saying it because, and maybe Kobe Bryant, too. I don't know what that dude he was doing. Whatever the dude was doing to him, he wanted to offend him. He currently at that state of mind, and again, murder has a deal where if you piss someone off enough, it becomes a different degree of murder where it's a little more forgivable than like
fleeting.
Yeah, it's like this moment where you lost control and you had this momentary lapse of sanity, and you can't control yourself. Crime of passion also comes into play. But maybe the dude was pissing Kobe off, and he's like, "Hey, shut up!" It's like, whoa,
knew that would get his attention.
Oh. Yeah, of course. And that's what Jonah Hill did. He had some idiot photographer following him around, and he told him, knock it off, until he boiled him over to the point where Jonah Hill called him the homo F word, and then had to go on Jimmy Fallon and start sobbing, which was, no, just say I was mad. I said terrible things. I was angry. How come words popping out of your mouth when you're really furious?
You think that was
the
bad?
Same as when you got a knife in your hand and somebody's trying to piss you off or you end up losing it. That happens all the time.
The funny thing about that is that's the one that gets the attention.
Yeah.
But the other 300 that he said in the jab was okay.
Well, right. Yeah, doesn't matter. I had a moment last night, Brett, you would appreciate it. Brady, this would have probably made, and I bring up baby aspirin again because we were just talking about it off the air, you'd have had to eat a whole bottle of it sitting in my house. I want you to be at my house at one of these moments. Now, I rarely say I want anyone at my house, but you, sir, I want at my house. I'm sitting in this recliner. It's like Fraser's dad's chair. It doesn't match any of the other furniture, but I got it when I got my shoulder surgery because I had to sleep sitting down for like a month. Awful. But I've grown to love this cruddy recliner, so it doesn't go anywhere.
Does it tilt forward?
No, it won't stand me up.
My dad has
I want one of those, though, because those are awesome. Yeah, if I don't have to work to stand up anymore, life's good. So I'm in the recliner last night. It's just dark. Probably the sun just set. The big window in the main room is open.
Yeah.
Windows are open. Open. I'm sitting in the recliner. Dodgers-Giants game just starting. And I hear, just a little, I don't have a doorbell, so it was more like this. A little rapping on the door. And I look over at the door. There's a lady there with a piece of paper and something else. She's just waving. Hi, neighbor. And I just stared at her.
Oh, my God.
Megan goes to the door, and it's glass. Just looking at her.
Well, they can hear you because the windows are open.
See it, too.
And Megan goes, don't answer it. I'm like, I'm not gonna. Hi, neighbor. Hi. Nothing.
It's like the hills have eyes.
And all I'm thinking about is how Brady would be like, okay, I'll get it. I got to do this. It would be like drive. She did 3 tours through. Like the third time through, like, I can see you. And then the third time through, I'm just sitting there. So I turned my recliner, because it's also like a rotating. Turned the back to the window. Finally, she goes, gets in her car and goes to Michael and Troy's, the neighbor's house across the way. And I text Michael and Troy and I said, don't answer the door. We don't. Well, of course, they can't help it. They're like you. They're so happy to get.
Hey!
They just assume it may be Twink Delivery Service or something. I don't know. They forgot they got one. Amazon's Young Boy delivery.
They got a cheese board
right. They got a
else.
charcuterie and rubbers. Who knows what's waiting on the other side? They open up and I said, who is that? And they're like, oh, it's the lady right next to us. They're evidently having a big weekend shindig party wedding in their yard.
Want to let you know.
And they said, open your door. And we opened the door, and they had a big bottle of champagne and a note saying, please forgive how loud we're going to be Saturday and everything else.
Oh, well, that was actually nice.
Yeah.
Super nice.
Got free booze and didn't have to talk to anybody.
There were 2 phone numbers on the sheet. And I've talked to this dude's got a Vizsla. He's the guy whose Vizsla got out, and I put it back in the yard, and then he came over and tried to offer me like 7,000 pounds of elk meat because he's a hunter. Good dude. And Michael and Troy. He's got 2 teenage boys that walk around with their shirts off like the Dukes they have summertime, and Michael and Troy, like it's just, oh! You can hear them like when the boys are out. And Michael and Troy have a huge yard or a tree in their front yard, and they came by and knocked on the door and said, "Can we practice setting up our tree stand in your tree?" Oh, of course. So there's 2 shirtless boys trapped in the gay guy's tree, which I thought was, I'm like, oh my God, you're treeing them now. What's going on over there? Stop it, jerk. Like they treated these 2 young teens up in there.
A tree stand.
And stand at the bottom and bark like blue tick hounds. So it's them. And I've talked to them before. So I text back. I didn't know their number. It was on the sheet. I said, hey, look, last 2 times I've answered the door and not known it was a process server for a ticket. And another one that says I can't get close to a human being for like somebody's telling me I can't drive by their house ever again, even though I had no intention of doing so in the first place, because ladies get mad at you when you.
I know. It looked like I was staring right at you.
I know you saw me, and I know I saw you, but we don't answer the door.
But I'm gonna feed you this
I don't answer the door unless I know for sure that person. And again, my theory in 2021: if you don't text me before you come over, there is no reason for that visit unless I can visually see that you are on fire. And if you've got stuff in your hand, I'm like, I don't want any of this. So I just stared at her, and all I could think of was you. And I know that you probably had a moment about 6:40 last night when you're like, there's a disturbance in the force. I'm uncomfortable. What's going on? One of these days.
That's why I bust out about 7, 6:40, 7:30 to walk the dogs. I get out.
To go knock on people's doors?
Yeah. Say, hey, neighbor.
Hi, neighbor.
So to them, whose names I don't know, I'm sorry, but I'm
party on.
And I sent them a text back, and I'm like, look, we don't answer. There's process servers. You never know who's on the other side of that door. I want to give you something awful. But,
My wife's blind. She's trying to look out the door.
Nope, not at all. Hey, no. We just weren't answering. That's it. I saw you. Window was open. Hi, neighbor. TV's on. In fact, I turned it once during commercials back to the Bucks and Eagles. Back and forth. TV's flipping around from channel to channel. It's like, neighbor, hi, anything? All right, let's move this along. Whatever you need. If it's important, you'll just shout through the screen. You see it. And I just giggled incessantly, like how I can't imagine you ever doing.
You should have pulled your phone out and just videoed it. Just her sitting there.
The best one
on the door
was the old man. I still don't know what he wanted, but he had papers in his hand, and a process server is going to try to find you at a couple other places for tickets and terrible legal paperwork that says you're going to kill somebody, and they want you to leave you alone. So you can't go by schools anymore. You get those papers. Leave the kids alone stuff. Tired of it. But I just remember standing there, and I had just opened these windows, and there's this 90-year-old man just standing on the doorstep. Papers. How you doing? I had a soda in my hand, and I just stared at him.
He wanted you to sign, get Kristen Cinema out of here.
I don't know what he was. Some sort of, it was like a comptroller for my, I'm not interested in you. But text me. That's it. It's 2021. You text somebody. Brady is the last man on the planet happy.
I couldn't have done it.
Happy to hear this noise. You're just thrilled when this happens.
Hey!
Company! I am not that. I don't have Entenmann's at the ready. I don't have charcuteries. The drop. But again, thank you for the wonderful gift. And look.
Thanks for the brute.
Yeah, the brute. Yes, it was wonderful. I thought my Fabergé at first. Probably gave me something to drink that was cologne. But, just a future, because Al heard through the grapevine that I'm homosexual now. These people have to have friends who know somebody who knows. Michael and Troy found out I was talking about my new gay neighbors when they moved in. So somebody is going to Kevin Bacon degree to this family and say, hey, John was talking about you guys. Have party after party after party. And also, I'm going to come over to your house, drop that same bottle of champagne off and say, thanks for not inviting me and make me feel awkward about coming or not coming to your house.
I think you did the right thing because
I'll babysit your dog. He's got the coolest Vizsla I've ever seen in my life. I love that dog. Vizslas are amazing. I'll watch your dog for you during the party. But
Vizsla.
Well, I don't care, Brady. And I'm not taking diction or words
from the master?
Advice from you. That's not how you say that. Okay, bye. Anyway. Oh, neighbors. But it was great.
Those are cool-looking dogs.
Oh, Vizslas.
I've never seen one.
Best. They're kind of like Weimaraner, so a little smaller and kind of reddish.
Yeah.
Oh, the one he's got is beautiful. Gorgeous dog. So Just thought I'd let you know.
The only reason I knew that because I had it drilled through me from my neighbor that came over to let me know my first house.
Yeah.
He was the one that notified me about my lawn.
Oh, the guy that told you had a suck house?
He had Annie, the Vizsla.
They're beautiful. Great dogs, too. So I watch his stuff. It's not that I don't like them. I just don't like people coming over. But man, oh, man, another just... And to be totally and completely honest about it, my gut started to go a little bit when we were just looking at each other, and she went back for the knock, like looking at me like, I'm not going to stop.
That's
ballsy.
Oh,
that is ballsy because we're looking at each other.
How could you not be? Megan has to be laughing.
Nope, she's the same as me.
I'd be laughing too. There's no way I can be stone faced looking right back.
What do you want? Leave it at the door. That's why we love DoorDash and Uber Eats since COVID. They just drop stuff. You don't have to have that awkward exchange or like talk. Ugh, people? No. It's the best. Like, you see the dude coming up, and he doesn't want to talk to you either, by the way. He's not – Brady, this is something you need to know. The dude dropping off food doesn't want to have a conversation with you either. Doesn't want to see you. This is the best thing that ever happened to the Uber Eats driver. Drop it off and leave. Put it in an ant pile. Go.
The last DoorDash guy, he ate with us.
Yeah,
I got enough for you. Come on in.
That is if you saw an emaciated DoorDash driver, he would be in there chowing down. Yeah, it was pretty good, though. But my Brady moment, it was close. I almost did. I just got to get up. But then I thought, John, this recliner that doesn't fit in with any other furniture in the house, if you just turn it, you'll be back to her. This ends. And so I just slowly turned and kind of slunk down in it.
And if Megan's there,
Doesn't matter. She's not getting the door either. She didn't want. Look, well-trained people know not to answer doors. There's process servers on the other side. I've been burned by that a couple of times. One time, the process server yelled through the window, "Hey, who are you? Is John around?"
Huh? I'm Megan.
Oh, is John around, Megan?
No, he's not here.
This is his house, though, right?
Yes.
Do you live here?
No.
All right. And then he writes down on the paper, blonde men in the kitchen allowed in, and then staples it to the house. Like he tapes it to the house. And then the new law said that a process server doesn't have to go hand to hand anymore.
Oh.
An agent of your home can accept it.
But she didn't accept it.
No, but she was in there, and then once she takes it off, it's fine. And so we threw it away, and then
if you want to go in there and dispute it,
what
a pain!
Should have been your Guma. That's what she should have.
That's what. Here's the thing. My I used to know a sovereign citizen of the United States was a little bit loopy, but the dude knew the law up and down. We went over to Paradise Valley. He walked me through two things. One was the process server for this was the ticket that I ended up like trying to. I think I am one of the 5 people on the planet that made it so the photo radar tickets went away when that company was that Redfin company was doing it or whatever they were. But I went down there and they're like, well, you had a girl in your house. And I'm like, who was it? I said, a blonde named Megan. I'm like, I know like 9 of those. And he said, all you have to do is act like you bone chicks constantly. You don't know which one it was. And she may not have had to be there. I'm like, all right. And then I started to go down that road. And then the next thing you know, you can see, I think it was a law clerk looking at me like, all right, you want to go? And I'm like, I don't think I know enough about this, Scott, to keep going. It's like, we're doing it. And I'm like, okay. And then he started to say he was going to sue for the city bond for $34 million and all this. I ended up spending like $400 just to make it all go away. But
we got out?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Because that wasn't that. The next one was when I intentionally drove around with the big dildo and tried to get photo radar to take my picture and then finally got the picture. I still have it framed. Of me driving my Jeep. It was with Toledo. We were on the freeway. I had this big 18-inch dildo. And I would hold it up and just speed as fast as I could past him. I got the Jeep up to like 92 miles an hour. Got a ticket for 88 on the I-10. Snaps the picture. I'm like, yes! There's another one. I'm like, just in case. Just flying down. And then, of course, it shows up in the mail as a picture of you holding a huge dick. Because my thought told me, you're not allowed, the city is not allowed to mail pornographic material to houses. So then all I had to do was wait, and it shows up, and then I give it to my neighbor, and I said, well, you go down to the thing with your kid and say that this came to your house, and this is not your address, and this is not you, and the state mailed pornographic materials to his home, and his kid opened the mail. And he did it, and they ripped it up. It's great. So I highly recommend if you've got like one of those. We got to have 2 things. You got to know where one of the photo radar vans are, and I know 2 of them on Paradise Valley. I love Lincoln Road. I wish Lincoln's loaded with them. I wish I had my big dick for that. I can't use my own because it wouldn't work. So we'd have to have a Hubble telescope to get a ticket from that. But
So add that to the list of supplies you need. You
drive around.
Water, dildo.
Because the cool thing about Paradise Valley having so much money, their pictures are in color. So you're going to get a nice one. Highly recommend you take that whole thing right in the old throat. Put that thing right in.
Still got that?
No, I don't.
Bring your rubber asses out.
Well, that's just going to be a lot of work, Brett.
Yeah.
Plus,
they won't be able to figure what that is.
Well, I would say, they would ask you, is that you? And I'd say, yeah, well, what is that? Well, that's me performing anal angus on a dismembered torso. I mean, I think I'm going to get in more trouble for that. Just a big wang. And it's that picture comes to your house. If you got a cool neighbor, you just go to your neighbor and say, this showed up. And Michael and Troy would do that for me in a heartbeat. So that's the only time neighbors come in handy. And you shouldn't answer, but when you can get them to do your dick pics. And I got two that'll do it. They'll like it. So it was fun. But Brady, I thought of you all last night. Wanted to almost call you. I almost want to take video of it and go, what WWBD here? I'd have to answer that. I don't think I could do that. Just a silhouette of a woman on my porch.
Crazy.
It's pretty great. Pretty great. I loved every of it. Because I thought of you, too, because you got that screen door. Can you imagine standing on the other side of that screen door? And the person's talking to you and you just staring at them, not answering? You'd explode. You'd explode. You would bring candies and treats and send over a Charlie's Chips truck.
Take whatever you want.
Charlie's truck.
Take whatever you want out of there. That's yours. I bought you a whole truck.
But it's a good feeling. So, again, if, in fact, you have business at my home in this day and age, you should be able to text me.
Leave it at the door.
Make an appointment.
Drop it at the door and understand. I didn't know you were coming over, so I'm not going to answer the door. I've already got like 3 places in this city I'm not allowed to drive within a mile of. God damn it. So I don't need another. I'm going to start squaring myself off like I'm like Kubert. I can't go down there. I can't go that direction. Come on. It's great stuff. Anyway, thanks to the neighbors, though. And have your parties. And they even had in the note, said, we're going to close up the music at 10:30. It's Saturday night. You got this gigantic yard.
They're going to...
No, they're having a wedding
10:30?
reception. Yeah, they're like, we'll turn it off at 10:30. Turn it off. Keep it going.
Yeah.
The Greek festival just happened by my house. That thing goes on and is loud, and it's Greek music, which, by the way, kind of makes me hate Greek people. Oh.
Smell of
You ever
eggplant
heard
in your backyard.
Oh, my God. That music is terrible. I'd rather listen to polka and 311 all night long than Greek music.
Whoa.
I'm not kidding. I'm glad I was kind of out of town because it started on Thursday, and I bailed for the Fury Wilder fight. And this Greek festival happens every October, and it is. I've never seen. There's like less
Didn't you
people.
go one year? Did you go?
I couldn't. You can't go. Like it's a sea of humanity. The WNBA, all their teams together, don't get the crowd this thing gets in 4 days.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the whole season of WNBA games across the country would come up short to the Greek festival that happens in North Phoenix. It's incredible, the parking and the distance people are willing to walk from their parking spot to this Greek Orthodox church that's like a mile from my house.
It's like the Parthenon.
They park by my house, and it's a mile away.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I've always heard over the it's a blast to go to.
It is not. It is not a blast to live close to because within that mile, I can hear that horrible Greek music. Awful.
They do that over on Dobson and Elliott, too. There's a big Greek church there, too, and it's just a mile of cars.
Just gargling tzatziki and playing that awful music and churning off lamb meat in the middle of a park.
Gyros!
And everybody's dressed like they lost a bet in these weird black and red and white gowns and stupid hats like they just left the Shriners Convention.
That's the clergy.
Whatever it is, it's weird. Yeah, Greek people, you seem nice, but man, that festival makes me hate your culture. Something fierce. So when Mexicans start playing that tuba music,
there's similarities.
But you can tell it's Mexican. Somebody's Greeks it just never ends. It's there's one song. I would rather, like if Brady said, we want to go to the Greek festival, or do you want to go watch the Ohio State marching band play for 3 hours? I'm like, hey, let's go to Columbus. I think that sounds great.
You go down there with a bunch of plates.
Sloopy beats Greek music.
Wow.
Do you have Greek music on that computer?
I'll get
Find Greek
right
music.
now.
It never ends. It's the same
Chucking plates.
song. I don't know if they're breaking plates. I think they're all on paper or plastic out there because of kids. But, yeah, you start showing the Greek kids that. But, man, and it is People say it's great fun. I've ridden my bike. There's a little path behind where it is, and I've ridden my bike by it. It's bounce houses, a stage, and like 6,000 picnic tables. And I'm like, this is like a carnival in Globe. There's a couple of weird rides.
The girl that always said, you got to go, she was involved somehow. Andrea Cenas.
Oh, yeah, she was in. She probably dressed like one of those weird
Gotta go.
black, red, and white people. It's just not normal. I'm not a big fan of most cultures.
I don't know. This is best of Greek music. Timeless Greek favorites.
Oh, that's all this was. Like you just heard it in the distance for 4 days at my house. You don't hear that. You like it, Joe?
Listen
No
to that.
check cash.
Oh.
No check cash.
It's a fever. This is Devil Went Down to Georgia.
That's Andrea Katsinas.
Yeah, it's awful. That was actually one of the more decent ones. I don't ever hear a singer. I just hear that terrible. And then the worst part is like the big sell. Evidently, is like some these poor kids. I say abused children because they have to learn some sort of traditional Greek dance and then perform it on like 2 nights in a row. And then you hear this guy go, "Oh no, welcome to Greek Orthodox Church. Coming next, the children are going to dance for all of you. It's going to be a wonderful time. The music is raging. The tzatziki is hot."
They're throwing like bread at each other or something.
They just heave loaves of bread at each other. Look, I hate pretty much every culture when they get too out of hand. I went to that African festival with Janny.
Yeah. You had fun.
I didn't. I had fun. I had fun because I was with Janny, but I didn't appreciate any of the culture. They had a fashion show, and I'm like, well, this is stuff. If I wore it, I'd get arrested for cultural appropriation.
They did it in the Senate. You'll be fine. Don't worry.
That's true. The house.
Yeah.
That's right. Nancy
Yeah.
Pelosi put it all on. The good thing was, I'm like, Janny, like, all of Africa can't be in on this. They had every flag from the continent. Oh, no, no, no. I'm like, half of these guys are probably from some tribe that would kill you. Like, you guys hate each other. Like, Sudan can't get along. Like, why are we having a with all of them? Like, don't you want to just, I hate this one. And he's pointing to flags. These people, terrible to the Sudanese. And you're like, well, let's get them out of here. And then the flags that have just an AK-47 on them, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. That's modern stuff. That's within the last 50 years. That's a country. Ivory Coast, Ghana, horrible. And he's like pointing them out. These are
Chad.
North Sudan. Oh, I hate the North Sudanese.
Niger.
Yeah, Niger, don't say that, Brett. And then Janie played a trick on me. You have to eat it with your hands. We don't have utensils. Oh. You have to do it like we with the festival. I'm like, all right. So I'm pounding this bean dip or whatever it is in this weird chicken.
Off a leaf.
No, well, I kind of had this bread thing, but that goes away real fast. Next thing you know, you get, looks like you had diarrhea all over your hand. Licking it, and then look over at Janie's got a fork. You prick.
I went for Ethiopian food one time,
all you gotta
and
do.
it was terrible. And it stuck with me for a day or two as well.
Well, the only
get
true
off the-
Ethiopian food is the restaurant I wanted to have years ago, and I know it's not appropriate now, where you order food and it falls from the ceiling in a bag with the red
yeah.
cross. Like you just get a
That white paste lands on your table.
and you get some water and the flour that turns into paste that you dip out with your hands and rub all over and then flies all over your eyes. That's the only, like Ethiopia is known for a place with no food. How do you have a restaurant? And then people will go, "Ugh, there's one over in Baseline." Is
Yeah,
that
it's
the
on
one you went
Tempe.
to?
No, it's over in
F's.
Tempe.
Yeah. F's.
Is that what it is? I don't
think
even
so.
remember,
Like,
but
yeah. No,
it looked
you've
like
been there.
diarrhea, and
No,
I
I
had
haven't.
diarrhea for 3 days.
I'm not a fan of any. When a culture just becomes too one thing, I'm not a fan of it. I prefer diversity. I like the melting pot. I like the Italian. No offense, purpose. The Italian festival down there at Scottsdale Culinary. It gets a little out of hand, but they do recognize, like people hate, like you can't hear Dean Martin and some with a violin screaming Italian stuff all day. So they put bands up there.
Yeah.
And they had the lead singer of Berlin. So I was like, okay, this will
She owed somebody a favor.
She was great. And the Black Moods were there. And I'm like, okay, this isn't, you're not getting too, you're not making it so Italian. I feel like I can't be here.
Oh.
Yeah, because I wouldn't go if it was all Italian. You guys dressed up in black suits and sunglasses at night for no reason with Tommy guns. I'm like, come on. I'm not a big
I
fan
sent
of
you a
it.
picture of that the Columbus Italian Club.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go down on
Should've.
Monday, but I didn't know where the celebration
You also
was.
have the big, and we do this, and people don't even pay attention to it, but the big Mexican cultural festival that goes on here every October. It's called the Fair. You have that. I don't care for that either. I just don't like when it gets too, like when the music starts, I'm usually out. I don't want to be part of any of it.
I had two friends that went there, I think it was a week ago.
The Fair?
Yeah. And she decided to go on the zipper.
Oh.
And they got into their little cage. And the bottom of the cage was yep. And they locked them in. They wait, there's a click. Enjoy the ride. That thing's spinning around.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. No way.
Come on. Yeah, and don't think it's just racist because it's Germans. It's all of them. I have no interest in it.
They're like, we're blessed. You got to come with us next time.
No way. Your story is a vomit.
Yeah.
No. I got Jordan
That's
1s
solid.
on. I'm not plopping those down in vomit. I had to win a drawing to get these damn shoes. I'm putting those in I'm not getting in the zipper anyway. Again, my rule is if it's not bolted to the earth, it's not a ride I'm getting on. Period. Yeah. So, German culture, no thanks. The Chinese culture, too much Chinese. I like diversity. There's way too much Chinese in a Chinese culture. They overdid it is what I'm saying. It's like, all right, you guys could mix in a little bit of something else. I'm an American. I'm a true American. I like Chinese food.
You can always find something fried,
dipping it
whatever
in salsa,
the event
you know?
is.
Yeah, all right, but I'm still. It's like some guy's looking at me like he just pulled this out of a fish tank. I'm like, no thanks. You're taking it too serious. Do you have any ketchup? No ketchup, Chinese food. You make a dude to be American. I'm like, right, where are you? Phoenix? I don't think this is very Chinese. Calm her down a little bit. Let's get me a hot dog or something. Even like most classy places has a kids menu. Treat the Americans like kids. I like it when you get options. Go that Chinese cultural, that Greek thing. God damn it. Now I'm mad at that. But if I'm not mad at the Greeks making all that noise for 4 days, I'm certainly not going to be mad at a neighbor having a party. Go nuts.
Plus, you got a bottle of champagne.
Yeah, and they gave me
got the cold duck
nice
waiting
there
for you.
I'll stand outside their gate and drink their champagne. I even told them, I'm like, look, I got plenty of extra parking if you want to use it. Just don't block my car.
Did you see?
They have not responded to my text, by the way, so I think it might have pissed her off.
Speaking of the cold duck and champagne, big thing that, when Shatner and Bezos got out of the rocket.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shat started talking.
We pointed it out. I said he just interrupted him.
Yeah,
Shat's
now
talking.
it's just
now they're acting.
people.
But remember we were doing it. I'm like, hey, Bezos, Shat's in the middle of a story.
to launch the champagne.
But it was somewhat of a slow
He had been there for a while.
You kind of wanted William to land the plane on the story. He'd been talking, and it was a little slow. It's a 90-year-old man, and the story was a little bit. He was malingering through
and
the
his
words.
girlfriend's there with a bottle of bubbly, wanting to be sprayed with it.
Bezos wanted to play, and William wanted to chat, and wax nostalgic about the 2 minutes ago. So, anyway. So, what did we learn just now, Brady? Don't knock on my door unless you've text first, and I hate most, if not all, cultures. Yeah. Swedish culture? My own people have a Swedish festival. I tell you right now, do not attend that nightmare of people dressed
Get me some tickets.
They all look like beat up and sort of stole. They're like culturally appropriating the St. Pauli girl. They serve lutefisk and lingonberries. Go to the IKEA and eat any of that food and then have any Swedish person tell you this isn't authentic. And I will argue with you that it is, and it's better than when you make it at home. Kukakorv. Oh, and then they start playing their music,
Look,
and it's
there's
just
two things
whining.
the meatball booth would be, sold out.
The only good thing Sweden had as far as music goes is death metal and ABBA. That's it.
Imagine all the booths, though. You could take your stuff from IKEA, and they'd put it together for you.
I'm not a fan of culture
at that festival.
I think I'm kind of a world melder. I don't know. I think the biggest problem we've had is that we get too cultural. You got to have a culture, but keep it to yourself. Really, is what I say. Quinceañeras. You don't invite white people to those. There's a reason why.
Yeah.
It's
here you go. Here's
this is
traditional Swedish folk.
Perfect picture on the screen right now with traditional Swedish folk songs, which is like a really crappy piece of art from a Holiday Inn. This is Sweden. Cultural
That's
vapid.
Bob Ross.
Vapid cultural wasteland. And by the by, the people singing are my aunts at the festival of Mount Jewett. My dad tries to get me to go this every August. They're having the Swedish festival. We go see Aunt Connie, your cousins.
Let's go.
Never. I'm like, I'll go back to see the people, but then my Aunt Connie, and she's 90, and her daughters, they all start belting out this.
Get a handful of Swedish fish.
Never ends. No. Swedish fish aren't Swedish. They're mad about that. How dare you bring that up? They'd kick you out, which means I'm bringing a whole bucket of them. Like, get me out of here. Nothing worse than the Mount Jewett, Pennsylvania Swedish Festival, where they sell that kind of cruddy artwork.
This chick's hot, though.
No. No. Named Hilda, and they're all 300 pounds. My cousins have beautiful singing voices, which I think
Agatha is hot.
Must come from eating a lot of fried food because, yeah, and they wear these giant, like, duvet cover dresses. They're just gigantic clothes and bonnets. Like, there's a reason why nobody wants to go to your, this sucks. Have some Kugelkorv, have some Lutefisk. What's Lutefisk? Oh, it's dry fish soaked in salt for a month. Then what? Oh, we just flash fry it. Yeah, my culture stinks. I don't like any of them. Keep it American. You know what the best cultural party is every day? That drive-through over there at Raising Cane's, you Caniacs.
Caniacs!
Caniacs Unite!
Yeah, Caniacs Unite. That's a festival I can get behind. Give me some good old-fashioned American fried chicken, dip it right there in some ketchup, and I'm on my way. America! Yuck. But I went to African Festival with Janny because I just wanted to see.
Yeah.
And then and the best thing that happened to me there was I met Caribe Divine. And I got to send pictures to my friend Winston, who he and I both think we have a chance. Yeah, Winston and I both think we're in on that. I said, well, I'm one step closer than you are because I've met her now and her children. And I had an in because I'm like, do a radio show. Brady's pretty good friends with Mark Curtis, and I've met Mark a couple times. He'd know my name. Oh, yeah. And then she felt comfortable with me and talked to me for a bit. And I'm just snapping photos without her knowing it. Hey, Winston, I'm talking to my next wife. You want to be my best man?
He cried that
And he's
day.
like, oh, man. But then his in was, now that you know her, she's going to meet me, and then it's over. I'm like, nuh-uh. She doesn't want midget Deontay Wilder. She wants AZ Tyson Fury. Anyway, keep your cultures quiet, please. By all means. I'm tired of it. And have your neighbors have to be cooler about that. If your neighbors have one party, God, these people have lived next to me for 8 years. Never once have they even had a party. You're entitled to blow one out now and again. Every Sunday, I got people at my house and we're barking and yelling. I don't know that we make that much noise, but
You could answer that door and you're like, hey, is it all right if we come over and party with you guys?
That's what you'd have done.
The thing that wouldn't leave.
Yeah,
Make some long distance phone calls. You guys mind? What's on the TV? What do you got? You guys got cable? Oh, this movie's 3 hours long. Just started. Settle in.
No Hot Pockets?
Godfather 1 through 3 on it. Oh man, have you seen this yet? This is the chronological Godfather. It's 9 hours. I'm never going home.
Anywho, let's get a wake-up song, shall we? A good one. Nothing cultural. Just straight across, American white bread. That's what I care about. Maybe a little hot on it. That's our culture. We're boring and we keep it that way. We got them all. It's the whole point. Maybe ABBA. ABBA's not bad. No Ace of Base, though. I'll tell you that. It's an affront to my family.
I saw the sun.
Oh. John, it's your dad. Oh, what do you want? Oh, you're going to head up to that Mount Jewett Swedish Festival here in August. You want to head up, see Aunt Connie? And I'm like, you know what? No. Why don't I just fly out and see Aunt Connie and be nice?
Gotta go.
Hey, your cousin Chris is going to be there, and you haven't seen Danny in years. And I'm like, yeah, well, there's a reason why, because the only time I ever get a chance to go out there is that goddamn Swedish festival. Everybody dressed like a Svenska polka. It's annoying. Yeah, give it to us good and strong. 585-9800. We'll scream it together. It's 98 KUPD. Wake up!
Hey, it's not weird. It's pretty cool, actually. No membership fee.
I have heard enough of this.
You've been listening to Holmberg's Morning Sickness Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, repeat, Eric'sFamilyBBQ.com.